Well, welcome everybody to training session number 3 in our online training on the fine art of reintegration. Now, just to summarize the sessions leading us up to this time, we believe that healthy reintegration can be pictured by a bridge, which includes 4 stages on that bridge. We begin with what supports the bridge. Where does the bridge get its strength from, its ability to endure? Which, as people of faith, includes our faith practices and our God empowering us and giving us wisdom and strength and discernment to provide clear and manageable steps as parolees integrate back into the community. The second stage of the bridge is the on-ramp or the entrance onto the bridge and having an awareness of what an offender has experienced and how their experiences inform the steps that they will need to take on this journey. The steps across the reintegration bridge, the steps that lead them to this experience of a healthy reintegration and to once again become a contributing member of their community. In stage 3, we pictured the main body of the bridge, which in the case of reintegration is, without doubt, without question, the faith community, where parolees experience their faith community as what we like to think of as a relational resource center, which we will primarily focus on in the next session, session 4. Now, over this reintegration bridge of a parolee moving across on the on-ramp of the bridge of what they experience in the correctional institution through the faith community and exiting back into the community as a contributing member, we said that these clear and manageable steps that we can provide for the parolee across the reintegration bridge involves asking together with them 3 invaluable questions. The first question is, where have you been? Where have you been? Which we began to address in session number 2. Where are you going is the second question, which we will address now in this third session. And then thirdly, how are you going to get there? Which will be the focus of training session number 4. Now, the question asked together with the individual that you are supporting, where are you going, is invaluable. Even though the answer is relatively brief, it is incredibly, invaluably important. It is the foundation for everything good and healthy that can take place as an offender reintegrates back into the community. If we stay with this picture of the reintegration bridge, we might all think, well, duh, we all share the same vision, right? The goal is to support an offender so that they cross over the bridge, that they exit the off-ramp, and they become this fully contributing and thriving member of the community once again. So really, what's the issue? Why make such a big deal about this second question? Well, the mission of supporting offenders to be contributing members of their community and the vision of eradicating recidivism is not necessarily the message that most offenders hear. Now, please don't get me wrong. There are amazing people that Better Life encounters continually within corrections, within the institutions, the parole offices, the halfway homes, and all our gifted partners that we have the privilege to work together with. However, you may know that Correctional Service Canada expresses their work, the mandate, if you will, of their work through the motto, keeping Canadians safe. Keeping Canadians safe, first, and then secondly, changing lives. Keeping Canadians safe, changing lives. Now, many people, both from within and without, often express the fact that the clear message is that there is an emphasis on keeping Canadians safe. And of course, we want to keep Canadians safe. That's incredibly invaluable and important. But what is the message that offenders constantly hear? What is the message, in a sense, that's beat down inside of them, that in many respects becomes a part of their psyche? You are going to reoffend. You are not going to make it. Once a criminal, always a criminal. This point really came home to me when I was reading Hank Dixon's book. Again, I would just encourage you to grab a hold of Hank Dixon's book. It's so well written and so invaluable for the work of reintegration. But Hank talks about the day when his parole had come, and he was led out to the entrance area of the prison that he was in. And he was standing there. He was waiting to begin his parole, to sort of take the next step, to enter in at least to some level of freedom. And the correctional officer who was standing there looked at him, and he said to him, "You'll be back. You'll be back." Now, there is no question that it's very easy to become cynical working in corrections. But when it comes right down to it, thanks a lot, right? Thanks a lot. I am not even out the door. I'm to begin my parole. I've made it to this stage. And the thing that you say to me, that you reinforce for me, is you will be back. See, the impact of the constant messaging is ginormous and far-reaching, deep-reaching. Just consider how it informs an individual's thoughts as they enter parole. Again, the thought an offender has running through their mind is, everybody's just waiting for me to fail. Everyone's just going to point at me to say, I told you so. I told you that you would never make it. So, let me ask you the question. In light of the constant messaging that offenders hear, what do you think is one of the most important contributions, one of the most important roles for a mentor, a volunteer, to provide a parolee? Without question, the communication of hope. The communication of hope. Now, I don't mean blowing sunshine, as important as sunshine is, but blowing sunshine is in telling somebody that they can do whatever they want, they can do anything. But just consider how faith plays such a central role, an invaluable role, in the ability to provide everyone with hope. For instance, the Christian faith talks about the promise and experience of these incredible qualities: grace, which is undeserved favor. You don't earn it, but you're granted it. Forgiveness, that there is such a thing as forgiveness, that you can forgive yourself, that you can forgive others, that others can forgive you. One of the great things that many offenders wrestle with, that drags them down, that eats away at them, is forgiveness, and this feeling of being unforgiven, of never being able to forgive themselves, never being able to forgive others, or have others forgive them. And it's like shackles around them. And what about redemption? This incredible thing called redemption, this fresh start that we're offered. Now, honestly, each one of us, right? We can wrestle with our frailty, our ability at times to not live up to everything that we aspire to be. And we can be crushed under the weight of failure. That's not uniquely an issue that only offenders deal with. It's a human issue that impacts each of us. The question is, what does your faith community, whatever your faith community is, what does your faith community say about hope? What does it say about personal transformation? How can you communicate a message of hope into the reintegration support that you provide? In a sense, the foundation for everything that you do. Or even, how can hope infuse the reintegration support you provide? Now, let me be clear. Hope does not mean doing everything for the individual you support. In fact, we have a psychological term for that. It's called codependency. Doing for others what they should need to do what it's healthy to do for themselves. It is in the best interest of parolees to learn through trying, through attempting, to have the satisfaction of growing in confidence that they can achieve the goals that they set out on. Now, it doesn't mean as well sugarcoating everything. Oh yeah, everything's going to be wonderful. Everything's just going to work out. It's going to be fine. The reality is there's going to be challenges and questions and frustrations. But as we'll look at in the next session, and in answer to the question, how will I get there, that we can provide a pathway for how an individual, frankly, any individual, can thrive and grow, to have clarity around that question, how will I get there? What hope is going to allow a parolee to do, and at the very least to begin think about, and once thought about, begin taking steps towards their dreams and their aspirations? That's what hope empowers a parolee to do, to go from this mentality, this ingrained sense that I'm no good, I can't achieve anything, I'm going to fail, to go from that place because of the reality of hope to, again, pursuing aspirations and dreams and goals, to begin living towards a promise and a future instead of just being overwhelmed and swallowed by the mistakes of the past. So as you support an offender, as you work with them to find clarity around the question, where am I going? Remember how much the answer to that question is dependent upon being infused with hope. Thank you for joining us for training session number 3 and asking this important question, where am I going?